Welcome to Center of Light. How we doing, folks? Welcome today. I just had to do this presentation. I hope my internet, I bless the internet, is stable. So, welcome everyone to Center of Light. I've been wanting to do a presentation for the last couple of days on this subject, the road less traveled. If you would, please take this time to share this to your wall. You can also go to YouTube, look up Center of Light Radio, subscribe to my page, thumbs up, comments, all that cool jazz, right? Things are changing. The roads are ever dividing. It's a good thing. Separates the wheat from the chaff, not a higher or lower. It's just the road that you choose. Notify me when Keith goes live. Choose the ellipsis, the 3 dots in here. Make that happen. I'm always in this chair doing what I love, living my heart. Tonight we're going to be talking about the road less traveled, braving the wilderness. Many of us, hi Dana, hi Tonya, Anson, Janet T. Ward, Rena, Melanie, Kim, Gary, Jenna, Jackie, Anson, Melissa, Danielle, Carolyn. Eventually we're going to shift Center of Light to YouTube. We did it last night because Facebook was down. And everyone there quite enjoyed it away from Facebook. Nothing against Facebook. I love Facebook. But feel free to go there now. In fact, you can look up. I'm going to find it. Check this out. You're welcome to go here and watch the presentation as well. Eventually, that's where I'm going to lean into. So if you feel like scattering, I'll check both rooms. I'll do my best to remember, though Facebook is my habit. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the road less traveled, braving the wilderness. Many of us are doing just that. Many who may be watching this presentation now or throughout the duration of it, or even in the future. Love the idea. Not sure what to do or how to do it. Or what to do when something begins to happen. I understand. If life is the same for you over and over and over, and you feel like you're a dog chasing its own tail, we all go through that spin, chasing our own tail in life, until we get off the wheel. Whoops. I'm dizzy. Catch your equilibrium, catch your breath, regroup, recenter, have a new idea, create a new path, and it takes you to a new marketplace where you get a different kind of sustenance. What is happening on Earth is not about the Earth, it's cosmic. Today, 12 noon sharp Central Time. I had everything ready to go, and I had my mouse, my pointer on the button to say submit. And I submitted 24 years collectively of my life's work to 6th book publishing today with the hopes for worldwide distribution. I took the divine principle and for the love of God and combined them and broke them apart and put them in a chronological order, 3 volumes, initiation, integration, and graduation. It's a 440 whatever page book. Gavin Lee Davies is behind me. He's an agent for the company as well as a fan. He received the package today because, Keith, I'm going to push. 24 years of my life. Titled Homecoming. You guessed it. Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. Hi, Linda. Jackie, Unsun, Kim, everyone that's here. Again, tonight's presentation is The Road Less Traveled. There's a book by M. Robert Peck. The Road Less Traveled. Phenomenal book. By the Beatles. The long and winding road that leads to your door will never disappear. I've seen that road before. It always leads me to her. Lead me to your door. The wild and windy night, the rain washed away, has left a pool of tears. Crying for the day, why leave me standing here? Let me know the way. Many times I've been alone, and many times I've cried. Anyway, you'll never know the many ways I've tried. But still, they lead me back to the long and winding road. You left me standing here a long, long time ago. I love you, Broham Sandwich. Thank you, Melanie. Kim's giving me the math, soul to soul. Linda's in the house. The long and winding road. So behind me, we have a path that looks pretty dark. It's a little shady, no pun intended, but yet not as well illumined as this path. The lit path. The lighted path. Hello, Nori Love, Nancy, Karen. So as we meander, I love that word and this usage. As we meander down the long and winding road. Boy, the energy that just came through me. Choked me. As we meander down the long and winding road, we come to a fork. What is a fork? It is a utensil. It is a tool. That which to be used to bring your food, your sustenance, or your manna into your experience. What do you do with that fork? What do you do at that fork? Whatever that fork in any road, in any aspect of life, be it daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or for your life's span, what do you do when you get to a fork in your road? How do you know which one is going to lead you to your marketplace faster, greater, bigger, more bliss? Hello, Chris Pace. Hello, Hannah. It could be either one. Don't let the image fool you. This one over here seems dark and shady, to use the word. And this one over here seems illumined. Which one do you think holds your highest potential? Which one do you think will lead you to your marketplace so that you do not spiritually starve Don't be so hasty. Think about it. It's a multi-layered principle. It's a multi-layered thought idea I am handing you. Center of Light, tonight's presentation, is the road less traveled, braving the wilderness. It can be a little nerving. Eventually, you are going to have to champion the mountain. You can do it consciously and at your choice. Or it will choose for you. And the climb is going to be a lot more steeper than it would be if you chose consciously. Trust me, I've been doing it a long time. And I know the only choice you have is to use your choice consciously, effectively, on purpose, with purpose, sincerely, and passionately. It's all you got. It's a choice. It's all you got.
Remember that all things are possible. You must choose to be accountable, responsible, enough to believe, and open your heart to receive.
Above and look at your life, and you see the life you live. Can you be surprised that it all turned out this way and not the way you planned? It's about what you know and what you understand. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Learn to follow that inner voice inside. That's the one that's telling you not to run and hide. See what your life could be when you visualize. It's about what you choose that you'll realize. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Now it's time for you to plan out your life. Seeing what you do by your own design. It's all up to you to make it what you can. It's of your own free will. What don't you understand? Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice.
Hello, beautiful friends. Keith Anthony Blanchard here with an amazing product offer. We have been hearing about hemp oil for the last couple of years and its potential. Let me introduce you to my dear friend, Miss Jackie Atwell. Our oil helps bring your body back to a state of wellness. It is also used as a preventative from illness. It works by bringing the body back to homeostasis and balance. It's a natural, organic, non-GMO, full-spectrum oil. Third-party tested and comes with a certificate of analysis. Posted on our information page. Awesome anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. If you are suffering in silence, give it a try. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. 60-day empty bottle money-back guaranteed refund. To order, go to www.hempworks.com/Jackie Atwell. That's www.hempworks.com/Jackie Atwell. Welcome back to Center of Light, y'all. It's good to see you on this Thursday night. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. I want to say thank you to Danny Holbroyd, forgive me in your last name, brother, for interviewing me today on his radio show, Paranormal Now Network. One of the most enjoyable interviews I've ever done. Very delightful gentleman. Great speaking voice, great quality microphone. The dynamic and the dance between he and I was seamless. It was just truly, it helped me to get into a zone. He got into the zone. We joined each other in the zone. And we were zoning out, zoning in. Welcome to the road less traveled, braving the wilderness, Center of Light. We have an opportunity. None like any person before. Any group of people before. As we have all been bestowed something. Something that's been placed at our doorstep. Metaphorical for your heart set. Though this prophecy, this truth, this reality, this experience that is coming for those who hear the clarion call. It's a simple choice. To get on board now, the train has left the station. And there's still time for you to run and jump on back of the caboose while it's moving. It's not doom and gloom. It's not to stimulate or generate fear. It's to tell you the cosmic train that we've all been waiting on is here. But is it really what you want? We've been living our lives, and even today, claiming this is what we want. We want Jesus to return. We want this to happen. We want the ascension. We want the 5D. Is that really what we want? Are we there yet? Mom, Dad, how long before we get there? Are we there yet? It doesn't mean that it does not take time. Time is a beautiful thing. That's why we are here, submersed in it. Time is the overseer of infinity. Ironically, I'm choosing, and I am already on board the infinite train. And it's about time. From the divine principle. Tonight's presentation, The Road Less Traveled, Braving the Wilderness. God says, yes, the road is a long one and it will take time. But eventually that road will lead you to eternity. And when you get there, all of your struggles will be forgotten. Seems like work. Changing your life seems like work. It can be. Or you can make it into such a joyous occasion. However occasionally you do it. Rena says Gabriel blows his horn. I was thinking Charlton Heston blowing the conch. Oh, Moses. Some people may say, this is a fanaticism. And I am a fanatic. And I hope it becomes trendy. I seriously hope it becomes trendy. That people are jumping on their own Yanava train. Yanava. The sounds of silence. The sounds of the soul. Your name at your essence is Yaha Naha Vaha. Yanava. That's what you are. You can never change that. No matter what, you can never change that. That's one thing in the universe you can never change, is the essence of who you are. You will always exist. You've always existed and you will forever exist. What you choose to do with your life on this level or in any level that leads you to the marketplace is heaven. Heaven is not a locale, some gazillions of light years on some plane. That's not what heaven is. Peace is a state of mind. Heaven is a state of heart. Bliss is a state of being. What will you choose tomorrow when the fork in the road presents itself? When you come upon a fork in the road, are you going to choose the dark path or the light path? Simply, we want to say, I'm going to choose the path of light. I am here to share with you and offer you an idea you may have never considered. The path of light holds nothing for you. Nothing. Ooh, Keats, that sounds spooky. Are you dabbling in demonic? The path of light has nothing for you. I'll tell you why. Because everything in the path of light you already have. It's illumined. So you already have it in a form of understanding and the form of a realization. Now this path has everything else in it that you never dared to brave into the wilderness. Are you willing to go through hell to get to heaven? Jesus did. And if he is your teacher, and we want to be like the teacher, then we have to follow the master steps. Just like Yoda on that other planet with Luke. And he says, when you go in there, into the darkness, and when he went in there, he saw a reflection of himself, Darth Vader's mask on the ground, after he cut off Darth Vader's head in this dream. Someone I interviewed some years ago said, you don't find God by going to the light, because that part of God is already illumined in you. That's the joys in your life. That's the bliss in your life. That's the loves in your life. That's the balance in your life. The darkness simply translates to your ignorance. Bring the light of awareness into the equation. Then this path begins to look like that path. And guess what? The opening into the meadow or into the playground that you see gets wider. It simply just gets wider. Every time you illuminate a dark path because you braved the wilderness before, when you cannot see the forest through the trees, you venture into that dark forest to where you're no longer scared and you okay your way while you're in it. You just stepped into the path of illumination, ironically, and the path opens wider. You see, it's an inside job. It's an inside job. What is the road less traveled? Metaphorically speaking, someone who takes the road less traveled is acting independently, freeing themselves from the conformity of others, parentheses, who choose to take the road more often traveled, generally making their own choices, and perhaps leaving a new trail that will become the road more often traveled, parentheses, until, of course, someone takes the road less traveled from there and happens upon something even better than the first improvement. In that way, the cycle always repeats itself and continually growing into betterment. The idea of taking the road less traveled or doing things a separate way from the way they usually are done, while applicable to many aspects of life, is in particular applicable to, it says Wikipedia, I don't know why. If one as an editor or even as a reader happens across a way to do something, anything, more easily or in a better fashion that it is commonly or is always done, then one should probably take the road less traveled and give it a shot. If this is done, the person in question might leave a trail that will become the road more often traveled. However, this is not the general meaning of the whole poem. One could possibly pick out the meaning based on what he or she may already know, or by using simple context clues to figure out the meaning. The road more often traveled. Despite the obvious advantages of taking the road less traveled, there are certain times when taking this path is not always the best choice. That path of illumination that I just talked about, the path of light, seems like that's where we need to go. And as I mentioned, it is not. Going into the path where it's dark and shady, double entendre, is where you will find God. It's the parts of you that are still asleep. Illuminate them. You become even more into a space of your own wholeness. Despite the obvious advantages of taking the road less traveled, there are certain times when taking this path is not always the best choice, and it might be better just to stick with the road more often traveled. Taking another road just to circumvent the road more often traveled, the road that policy is built on, is not constructive. Making the choice of which road to take can sometimes be hard and is very dependent on the situation. One must assess the possible advantages, disadvantages, and risk of taking either road, just as any real-life explorer or traveler would. Another school of thought suggests that the road less traveled is the harder, less attractive road. Most people will take the easier road. Most people search for the easier paths through life. However, the easier paths are often the less eventful. Overcoming adversity generally advances us the most in our awareness and understanding of the world. It is very rare that a person would ever, it is very rare that a person would ever say they were willing to undo an experience regardless of how difficult it was. The road less traveled brings us more experience, and more experience enables us to live more. The road less traveled can make all the difference. We ought not to aspire to be as enlightened as a flea. Robert Frost. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and long down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps to better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves me no step had trodden black. Oh, I keep the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the less one traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So you see, the thing you are scared to do because of what people think, the road less traveled. Most people are in a self-induced prison because they worry what people think. Well, I don't really think about that all the time. If you think about it anytime, that vibration is running wild, rampant, and loose inside of your skull. You're just not aware of it until it says hi, and you go, oh, I'm aware of it. What effect is it having on you on all levels, the fact that it's in your matrix, wreaking havoc? Very simple question. And that lack of clarity, anytime we come upon any fork of the road, if we're not clear in our decision-making process, we have a 50-50 shot. And you realize, oh, I wasn't clear and I made a mistake. Now the road forks again. If you're still not clear, you have a 50-50 shot. Dang it, I did it again. I did it differently, but it's the same thing with a different face. You travel down the road and there's another fork in the road. It's exhausting. And every time you do this, you exhaust all your power and all your possibilities until you become exhausted. And finally, when you give up, something of clarity shows up. Because when you come to a new clearing, a new fork in the road, and you don't know which one to choose, instead of just choosing randomly, I'm just not sure, and that one looks the best at this moment. How about not trying to choose at all until the one is selected for you, and you absolutely know it? A fork in the road, what do I do? Well, this one seems like, and you make a mistake. Or, I surrender. And Spirit says, good idea. Take the one on the right. And you say, it looks so scary and shady. And Spirit says, yes, it does. But if you knew who walked by you every moment of your life, here comes the waves of bliss. You will never be afraid again. If you knew who walked beside you every step in your life, you will never be afraid again. So the dark trail becomes infinite possibility. That job decision you need to make tomorrow, don't just simply choose because of what you think is going to be the it for you. Remember, you're launching yourself from a launching pad of memory, indoctrination, right and wrong, slammed into you by everyone. Even using your not sureness of what you think is the highest path or not. Aren't you tired? That aspect of me has died. It's exhausted itself. It's burned itself out. Now I live with a holy fire inside of me. And there's no way it can ever be snuffed. Ever. Join me in this beautiful, divine, expansive endeavor. It's the road less traveled. Brave the wilderness. Jump. Find something you're scared to death to do because of whatever reasons. But something is burning, yearning, churning inside of you that says, do it. And you can not only not sleep at night, you know that if you leave this world and never have done that said thing, you're going to carry an enormous amount of guilt and regret. What are you waiting for? Approval? Permission? You owe absolutely no one anything. You don't. Oh my God, I can't believe John or Jill Doe's going down that road. Y'all have a nice day. I'll see you at the supermarket. The long and winding road that leads me to the door. What is transpiring now? As I say all the time, it's important. I keep pressing home the lesson, the point, the reality, the experience, the vibration, the frequency that's coming into our field of reference. But you have to want it. You have to be willing to move to what you think is dark to see the truth. Just because it looks like this path right here doesn't mean actually it is that path right there. It's our own ignorance and perception of what we think is happening that makes this path look like that path. Dark, shady. Ooh, there's some boogeymen in there. I used to be afraid of a devil. I was raised Catholic. Whenever one would visit me in my sleep, I would wake up sweating buckshot. That's dark. Today, if I ever get such a visit, when I come to a state of awareness and I'm trying to be manipulated, that dark path, I actually tell these creatures, beings, entities, energies, you've messed with the wrong cat. When years ago, I would have woke up trembling in cold sweats. You've messed with the wrong soul. I will grab them and start kissing them on the face and tell them I love them. And they start squirming. They want no part of me. So in my past, what could have seemed like a dark path, a dark experience, simply by my own awareness, spiritual knowledge, experience, and cognition, I changed it just like that. They don't bother me anymore. So that dark path of these energies jacking with me when I'm sleeping at night simply became this path. Hi, Carla Holy. I love your name, Carla Holy. Domingue is my mother's maiden name, Domingue. My mother, and I'm sure your family heritage is probably ancestry is the same, came from the Dominican Republic, Dominguez. At least mine did. Of course, they drop the name when they go to a new country, part of the name when they go to a new country, right? Hi, Carla. Hope you're well. Yes, darkness leads to illumination. Jesus went through hell to get to heaven. How many experiences have you had in your life that seemed like absolute hell, that you would never trade for, never give up, because in hindsight, the level of bang and wisdom that it had for you, why would anyone ever want to change that? You wouldn't. No one does. Oh my God, when this happened to me, it sucked. But 20 years later, it's my new foundation. That foundation is what you bring with you when you come up to a fork in the road. A relationship that's dissolving or potentially could. A job. A life decision. A day's decision, a week's decision, a month's decision, a year's decision, a life-changing decision, your life's ultimate decision. They're all forks in the road. They might be a great fork in the road, which could be your life decision. And then they can be sub-forks in the road for smaller decisions, all the way down to 7 decisions, 1 per day, down to 1 decision, so forth and so on. Can you possibly cut down a bad tree in your forest and be done with all of your problems versus nipping off every branch? Cutting every branch will eventually get you there. Takes time. And that's okay. If method is your way, by all means. I'm the kind of individual that likes to jump. I pull out the chainsaw and I whack the rotten tree from the bottom. And I'm done. I'm done with all of it. That's just my level of participation in the game we call life. We're all wanting to move into the woods, into the forest, into the playground of the soul. Or you at least on any level, to any degree, living on the playground in the garden of soul? How much joy do you have in your life consistently on an ongoing daily basis? Simple question. Let me think about it, Keith. You don't have to answer. I have some joy in me sometimes. Cool. I have lots of joy in me. Really cool. I'm on fire. Can you be cool on fire? Or I have no joy at all. I feel for you. Someone could put your hand on the switch all they want. You're the only one who can flip it. The only one. Joy is evidence of the presence of God. So to whatever level, to whatever degree you have joy in your life, you are experiencing God in that aspect. If you have no joy at all, simply, lovingly, you have lost sight. And I don't mean sight, I mean sight. You have lost sight. You're constantly taking the wrong road. You often are addicted, whether you know you're choosing it or not, to the road often or most often traveled. Are you making any headway doing that? Or do you feel like a hamster on a wheel or a dog incessantly, non-controllably chasing its tail? In any area of your life that you're going round and round and round and round and round with, relationship, job, money, this, that, the other, round and round and round and round and round, even a record on a phonograph comes to an end. It's called a beautiful song. Think about it. Here's a 45. You have it on a phonograph and you put the needle on. And the song begins to play as it revolves. Your life revolves in a circle every day. It's cyclical. Eventually that beautiful song comes to an end. The needle is picked up. A new record is placed. This is allegoric to your life. If you have a scratch, feel me? On the record. Over and over. The horrible song you're living with the scratch that feels like it's clawing your meat off of your soul will never end. Until you make a new choice. This applies on every level of your life until you get so good at it that you can simply just put on a playlist and your soul will play you nothing but love songs. You're listening to WGOD, the true soul music station. Gonna be right back after a word from our sponsor. Take it away, baby Jesus.
Trust that I will guide you in whatever you do. Just remember to breathe and do your very best to live in love, give in love, be in love, and love you shall receive.
want to be and see what I want to see and want, knowing God is by my side. There is nothing I need to know. All the wisdom's in my soul. All along I knew the way. Time has told me every day to breathe, breathe and expand myself, to know there is no one else but me and God who's in my heart. So I'll breathe, breathe and expand myself and know there is no one else but me and God. In my
Welcome back to the Center of Light. Today's presentation is The Road Less Traveled. When you show up to an event in your life and you have a decision to make, your life is a choice, clear or not. Whether you choose or not, you are still making a choice. Is your path illuminated? Is the one before you dark? Or is it even fuzzy? You do a little bit of work, inner work, calling for God by one of its many beautiful infinite names. Whatever your deity is, you can call it your grandmother. Doesn't matter. That which is beautiful is its name. And then all of a sudden, things get a little clearer. then you see the effect it has in your life. The impression not only did it make on you, to those around you. And you turn up the fire, the holy fire that lives in all of us. Not only at church on Sunday. It's church right now. Whenever two or more are gathered in my name, turn up the fire. Things become a little more clear. Continue the process and you forever expand. And things become more clear until you can, what we call, see. That is not enough. If you're satisfied with that, then it's enough. I'm not. What it really requires to make conscious decisions in your life is sight. Being able to see. Can you see? Can you see the peace on the other shore that awaits you? Are you the peace bringing it to the shore that you hope to step your feet on? Are you that? Because the peace that you bring with you is your paddle. It's your motor. It's your engine. Are you firing that up? Are your eyes clear? Can you see the entire world in your eyes? Seeing it in such a very clear way. It's the only choice you got. Or you can be blind. I once was blind. Now I see. Are you singing that song? Is that song a part of your life? And I don't mean necessarily the actual literal song. Do you see? Yeah, but you don't understand. Do you see? But I'm trying. Do you see? It's really simple. Do you see? You can engage in the nonsense of the world and the nonsense of the monkey mind all we like. We can do it all we want. We have that free will choice. Sometimes I even use my gift of sight and escape it for a little while. To have fun. To be human. Sometimes I want to shut off the seeing just so I can play and not be looked at. You ask any psychic or medium. Sometimes they shut the door to the other side. They want a life. They want to live. They want to experience. So when you come upon any fork in the road, be like that innocent child that sees everything in the world through its eyes of wonderment and awe, curiosity, innocence, purity, your essence. Stop being hard. I'm not hard. That was hard. Don't be hard. Or do your best in bringing softness in your life. People think that brute force, muscle, artillery, military, all these things represent strength. And it's not strength at all. That's fear and weakness and control. I'm talking about surrender to the subtlety of divine grace. In that place is a space beyond something you may have never experienced in your life until you become soft. And the power that exists in that space of yourself creates worlds and universes. So how do I make the correct choice when I come upon the fork in the road? The road less traveled, braving the wilderness of your mind, the wilderness of the ignorance that plagues the mind. Are you willing to be wrong, to learn, to grow and expand, to go, oh, that's something I've never thought of. Oh my God, this works for me. Why didn't I think of doing this before? That's called growth. You don't need broken arms. You don't need to be sick. You don't have to live in disease or fright or fear, anxiety, depression, guilt. If you have trouble with it, I am your brother. I love you. Keith, doesn't mean I'm right. I'm here just to hold space and be a sounding board for you. And if you ask me to offer some words, then I'll get busy. And to your level, in agreement with me, that you're willing to take the dark path, not to the devil, the dark path through one's own ignorance, I will show you the light. You will find it. But you got to want it. You can't dabble. I don't dabble. I don't dabble around. I understand people going at their own pace. That I do respect. But no, I will constantly push. Push, jump. Jump. Do it. Go. But I'm scared today, Keith. That's okay. Tomorrow, you're going to jump. Next day, I think I'm going to do it. Good. Jump. Well, I'm not sure. I will grab you, maybe inch you towards the cliff a little bit. This is not about changing your religious doctrination, your spirituality for anything. In fact, I want to push you further into it so you can become the very thing that your teacher left behind. That was the intention of your teacher, was it not? Until we go through heaven, until we go through hell, we will never understand nor experience the divine that occupies those seemingly dark, empty spaces. When you bring awareness to the situation, it stops. No more suffering. No more suffering. Keith does not suffer. I don't suffer. I stubbed the living shit out of my toe the other day. Let me show you. You know, I didn't know blueberries were in season. Look at my toe. Wow, I never saw the underneath. I didn't want your sympathy. I'm just playing around. I can sure create a nice shade of purple, I'll tell you. But I didn't suffer. I felt pain. It all changes when you change your inner dialogue to, oh my God, this is intense energy and it doesn't feel so well, at least what I call feeling well, to, oh my gosh, this is just intense energy. You no longer suffer. Suffering is self-induced. Suffering is self-induced. Jesus did not suffer on the cross. I'm asking anyone out there who carries this view, please don't desecrate the sacred. Checkpoint. Jesus didn't suffer. He felt intense energy. He felt the darkness of the world move through his pure, illumined heart and transmuted the energy, the dark energy, the path most taken, to the path least taken, the road less traveled. He transmuted the darkness of the world. He really didn't die for your sins. Sins implies an amazing layer of guilt. Don't you have enough of that shit to shake off already? That you need this pounded in your head for years? And then reinforcements day after day after day after day? How will you ever climb out of the quagmire up another rung of Jacob's ladder? With self-induced guilt, which creates self-induced suffering. Karmic cycle after karmic cycle after karmic cycle. And then you call upon Michael to say, deliver me from this horrible thing in my life. It will never happen. It will never happen. Never. Kim Gary says, lavender toe. Oh my God, that's so perfect. The road less traveled. Many of you out there, since we've been working together and visiting, I at least am witnessing many of you shift, leaps and bounds. I'm so happy to know you. Even for you, look around. Look around. All around. Look all around this magnificent world. See everything innocently, purely. Stop fighting. I don't fight with anyone. You're fighting with yourself. Therefore, you cannot get out of a fight with other people. Stop fighting. Stop. There's no need to go through this inner dialogue every day. I'm going to process today. Okay, but that time when I was younger and my whoever did this to me, and that's cool. That's method. That's great. That's how I got to where I am today is method. Until I found something else more powerful called being radical. You don't have to process everything that you went through in your life. Just be joyful. There's a fork in the road. Oh my God. You don't even have to move. You don't have to take one or the other. Just stand there. Can't you just be blissful standing there and not choose a dual consequence, duality as a consequence, right, left, in, out, up, down, good, bad, hot, cold, light, dark? Can't you just stand at the beginning of the forked path and simply be blissful? Can you? Wanting nothing will gain you everything. You don't need to know the answer. That's a wanting of a something. When one is in question, answer is always at bay. When one poses question and stands at the fork until they're instructed by Yanava, the soul that says, ah, dear one, you finally released and let go. Step this way. Ma'am, sir, step this way. I have something for you. Come on down. You're the next contestant on the game of life. The price is right. And you're bouncing up and down. Yeah. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Stop thinking. Stop thinking. Find a task that allows you to get out of thinking. All you are doing when you think is bringing up old data to repeat itself. There's nothing new in it. It's the dog chasing its tail. It's the hamster on the wheel. It's the record with the scratch. Over and over and over and over. And it begins to feel like scratching. It's abrasive. Nothing happens. You get irritable, frustrated. I am going to close. I want to change my screen. I want to shift. Center of light presentation on this beautiful night. The road less traveled, braving the wilderness. Sometimes you are left bewildered in all of your tenderness, being so butthurt by everything around you. Yet it continues to resound you and pulls you into the dark path. The one that you're so scared of. Well, since you're in it, why not make use of it? Meander further down the road, that long and winding road, as you carry that heavy load. Day after day, episode after episode. Exhausting, isn't it? Even those who are expanding, those little things that are still have their hooks in you, those residuals, they are also equally as tiring. Because in the opposite of now experiencing your liberation and your freedom, you see exactly where you are bound. And in so is where you yourself will be found. Something still has a hold on me in this aspect. Said correctly, you still have a hold on a something in this aspect. And always you automatically want to reject it. Not a wise choice. The road less traveled, braving the wilderness. How do I know what choice to make? Is it possible that surrendering your idea of what choice to make is where your choice truly lies? That's the path before you. It's not the one you thought it was. It's not the dark one and it's not the light one. It's the right one. The one that is balanced. The one that allows you to right yourself and become illumined in here. See, the path that is illumined and the path that is dark. The path that is illumined can be a devil in an angelic disguise saying, "Come this way." You can be fooled and disillusioned. When you illuminate yourself, wherever you turn, the path becomes announced. There is no dark path. You can play with these ideas if they help you. When you become the lighthouse, when you become the beacon, when you become the lighthouse, when you become the beacon, all that you are seeking will simply announce itself. Spirit understands you think that part A leads to part B, leads to part C, to part D. Back to method. Eventually you will get there. Here's a Windows, no pun intended, but yet, Windows shortcut. Icon. Click it. And allow the internet service sole provider to take you to the web page, the cosmic web page of infinite choice, so that you may browse. And once you get there, anything you download will help you to execute your upgrading. And you will keep up what is taking place. The train has left the station. Keep up. Heed this warning, dear one. You don't want your life to be thrown off kilter to where you become out of balance, disillusioned, afraid, anxiety-ridden, not knowing what to do. Everyone, every day, finds the fork in the road. I just don't know what to do, at least in this moment. There is a new way. That window is open. So what is it going to feel like when I don't have to know what to do? And when it engages, now I know what to do. Don't worry about it. You will know when you know. Spirit does not like to lead you on and give you too much of the information. What would be such an approach? What would be the point? It's called expansion for a reason. You're in this. This is your show. This is not Spirit's Go. This is your show. We are here to push, serve, support, hang out. The road less traveled, braving the wilderness. Yanava here. Stop fighting yourself. Stop. I love you.